Hates Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. Make sure, like I said, man, we're ramping up, interest in the Discord. I've been doing, more voice chats in the Discord, including the initiate as well as mine. So make sure you ask about that in the comments. I don't really want to just throw the link out there because I hate when people just throw the link out there and then people click on it. And then people click on the link and then the link doesn't work because, the link is just not there's no way to make it like an open link. You have to say, okay, I'm gonna let a certain amount of people in, or I'm gonna have it open for like 7 days. And quite frankly, I'm not just letting anybody in the Discord. Just have an open link so people can share it in there and come in there and do goofy stuff, because people just don't know how to act. That's unfortunate, but that just is what it is. So we're gonna do it kind of slow and steady, but all you got to do is comment Discord, and then I'll get you the link. That's all y'all got to do if y'all want to get in the Discord, and we're gonna work that out. We'll have a more streamlined system. I'm actually probably gonna do a squeeze page. I'm gonna do a squeeze page in which I may get your email and then just email it to you. It'll be like an automatic thing. That way it's more automated. So you put your email in there and I have your email in a list so we get, so other stuff can happen. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. I've actually added some things to the initiated Discord. I've added a support section, a music section. I've added a biz and finance section on top of the Powernomics section. These were sections that were requested. I still need to add a meme section, and I'm definitely going to add an AI section. So stay clear with that, and it's going to be slow and steady, but we're building that to last versus building that to do whatever. Also, people have had concerns about Discord talking about requiring verification. So they said they're not going to do verification, like ID verification, if they require it. And I understand that. That's for adult content. So that's for like not safe for work content, porn content. We're not going to have that in the Discord. So that's not going to be an issue. And people are going to be 18, for the most part, 18 and up in the Discord. That's I haven't even talked about having it for people under 18, because that's really something I leave for the Z's to deal with. But it's going to be 18 and up, and like I said, that's not going to be an issue because we're not going to have that type of content in the Discord. So it's nothing to worry about. That's what they were talking about, which makes sense because they would just lose their entire market if they did that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So also check out, they limited. I didn't really go through the whole stream to see if it was any cuss words or anything like that. I think they limited it just because, which makes me mad. I should have looked at it because I wouldn't have launched that video had they limited it. I knew they limited it, but they limited the last live stream. It wasn't even a live stream. It was an upload I did from Compassion Counsel's live stream. So make sure y'all check that out because there's some good nuggets, not just from me, but from other people. That was a 7-hour live stream Compassion Counsel's did. He normally doesn't do that. That also has a live stream where, it's been a minute since I interacted with Roger. So if you haven't checked that out, that just finished like maybe an hour ago. Make sure y'all check that out because it is good. It is a good conversation. We talk about power and leverage, and then you get to see how other people respond to that. So make sure you all check that out. But they limited it, so it is what it is. It is what it is. It'll be unlimited, but pretty much still check that out anyway. If y'all want to go ahead, throw $2 in the Cash App or something like that to support that video, make sure y'all do that. Remember, even YouTube gets 30%, but Cash App, I get all of it. And also remember that $1, like literally $1 is almost worth like 1,500 views. Hold on. Yeah, it's worth like 500 views. So even throwing $1 in the thing definitely helps the videos and stuff like that. Also, shout out to KMS. Been a minute. Shout out to KMS for the $10 called alive. You crushed it on Compassion. Please, pleasure to be on live with you. No, absolutely, man. I didn't even realize. Yeah, I forgot because KMS got a real good video too. That I gotta reshare because that's always good. So yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I didn't even realize who all was on there because I was just, you know, yeah. Compassion should definitely do more live streams, but obviously, if you know, we got to go through that 7 hour and pull out those nuggets because when we do live streams, we got to start turning those into videos. You know, at least 10 minute here, 5 minute there, 6 second there, something to where that, you know, we got to start, you know, doing a better job on that. Now, here's that. I'm gonna do an upload of this video. Like I'm gonna do like this, not this necessarily exact same again, but I got a video from Dana Dane, and yeah, I got a video from Dana Dane, and basically I was on TikTok and came through her videos. So she's got a video where she's talking about, it's been a conversation about her being, I guess, 37, 38, and I'm 39, but 38 years old, and her, I guess, not having the dude that she wants, or, you know, being with a dude that she wants, whatever. And, you know, she's not an ugly chick at all. And, you know, that's been going back and forth because there's been this trend about, you know, you 38 in the pool. So now they're in the cycle of saying, like, the pool is bad. And so, you know, she's been in that trend. And so I guess she's had enough back and forth for people with the comment section. And she did this video talking about people trying to rewrite history on the crack era and the impact of the crack era, which is funny because I'm one of the few people that actually talks about the crack era. And she's just trying to make it like, you know, she's a victim of the crack era, or her dating history is a victim of crack era. Let me say the front part first, and then get into the explaining of it. She has high standards, and I know I've been accused of having high standards. She has high standards. And you can want what you want. The question is, can you get what you want and not just get fucked, but can you actually lock down, get a dude to commit who you want? And like, that's what it is. And this is not me trying to play her, but I'm gonna tell you the truth the way the truth needs to be told. The reality of the situation is, she has said, she has put out there that she used to be big. She may not have been huge, I don't know, but she used to be big. I'm not going to say, I think she's in North Carolina. I don't know where. I don't think I don't know. And I'm not even going to speculate that, but she's in the South, right? So, because that makes a difference regionally, right? Here's the thing. She's trying to, and I'm going to do a video on this, like play-by-play on it, but she's trying to basically say black men are rewriting history about the crack era, and we're trying to act like the crack era didn't happen. No, just because we don't use the term crack era doesn't mean the crack era is not on the backdrop of a lot of stuff that gets talked about. Because I've said we are the children of the crack era. She was born in '87 according to her, and which means she would have came out of high school in like 2000, like really what, 5 or 6. So she would have came out of high school when I came out of high school, and she's trying to make it seem like for 18 years you just didn't have options because of the crack era. No matter how you slice it and dice it, and when I say options are not defined if you can get any man. Options are defined if you can get the man you want. An option, just so we're clear, an option is if you say you have options as far as sexual partners, it means you have options that where you will sleep with this person without them having to do anything. If you have options for marriage, it means you have multiple dudes that on paper you would consider seriously married or being their wife. Meaning they pass all the tests and they want you. Meaning they want to make that commitment. That's what an option is. I want to be very clear with that. So with men, when a man says options, it's different than when a woman says options. Because when a man says options, a man are really looking at all the chicks that he is willing to sleep with. But a man willingness to sleep with a woman is not exactly the same as marriage. So how we perceive options and how that affects the dating pool and marketplace is different, because women can open their legs and get a dude that sleep with them. That's not an option. An option is how many dudes that you actually want to sleep with. Which I would say, how many dudes would you sleep with for free? And she's not that type of chick. I'm just saying that in general. Like, I'm not saying that's what type of chick she is. I don't know her, but I'm just saying in general. That being said, I remember when Gang used to, well, she ain't, yeah, well, people say she mid, whatever, man. I'm not, at the end of the day, is she ugly? Is she ugly? Is she butt ugly? Is she ugly? Is she not attractive? It ain't even about mid. Because dudes fuck ugly bitches, let alone mid bitches. Let's just be real about that. Niggas, shit. The nigga that, the bitch that, Travis Hunter married was mid. The Latina chick, she's mid. Very mid. But hey, so, you know, technically Simone Biles is mid, if we just gonna keep it all the way real. So, you know, I'm not even gonna get into all of that because her being attractive don't even matter, because I made this same argument with Sarah Fatima, who is very attractive. I made the same argument. So it doesn't matter how they look, because how you're positioned in the marketplace doesn't matter. It doesn't, the looks only move that needle. My point in saying this is the reality of the situation is it's not the crack era's fault. And even if it was the crack era's fault, the conversation you're having this conversation with is millennials. Millennials are 44 years old now. We are basically from 29, a generation is typically 18 years. So from 29, 39, from like 46 is like the earliest, 47 is like the earliest millennials now. Gen X was the niggas that actually sold drugs during the crack era. Millennials, by the time 3 strikes would have came into place, which significantly reduced how many people were selling drugs, that was in 95, I believe. Give or take a year. Because Clinton got in there in 92. And that was one of the things they did in 90, from 92 to 94. So it would have been like 94 to, so really it would have been earlier. Meaning the earliest millennials would have been 16. Now I'm not saying she just said black men. I'm bringing clarity to it. Your gripe is with Gen X. To the extent I'm willing to say you have one, because I don't really say you have one for that reason. But if we were going to go that route, your gripe is with Generation X, which is really not even in the dating pool like that. The dating Gen X is like 46 to remember, Corey Holcomb is like 58. Gen X is like 46, 47 to like 60 something now. That's Gen X. Remember, Kamala Harris was Gen X. Gen X is old. We're coming into middle age. They're coming out of middle age. And that's important to understand. So the people you're talking about are not people that really give a fuck anyway, because they did their dirt. And even to the extent that I'm even willing to have that conversation, the reality is women sexually incentivize these niggas to sell drugs. That's a part of it that's never talked about. We're not talking about the same Gen X that within the stepdaddy insurance program, Gen X and boomers, because remember, millennials start in 81. That's where millennials start. Remember that. So really you talking about younger boomers and all of Gen X. So we're not even talking about like the stepdaddy insurance program that we basically revved up in order to deal with all these females that we're dealing with. And I'm not talking about just low-class women. I'm talking about women, AKAs, women that went to school. They still deal with dudes that are around the college, in the hood. They do it till this day. They've been doing it. Where do you think they got that from? The switch happened when a lot of dudes that these women would not have considered because they were broke got money because they were selling dope. And this includes the middle class women and the upper middle class women. So women outwardly incentivize that. So you got a gripe with the women as much as the men. Now, we'll talk about men are supposed to be leaders and all of this and all of that, whatever. But what happened was the lower class dudes, the crusty broke dudes, got a hold of drugs and crack, and they basically rocked that shit up and used that shit as a way of completely terraforming the dating market. Remember, black women used to be on some light skin kick in the 80s. Remember that. That's why I talk about the New Jack City Treaty. Yo, even Wesley Snipes used to say he couldn't get chicks before New Jack City. That flipped everything on its head, and people ran with it. Yes, Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan laid a lot of the groundwork in the 80s. They laid the groundwork, but the reality is that's really where that flipped. And we've been low-key dealing with that on one end or the other since. The drug era is just now starting to be over because a lot of D-boys ain't got no money no more. And now a lot of these rappers are college dropout rappers. Kudos to Kanye West, Gunner, and all of them. That's what I was saying. Like, YoungBoy is not even, outside of Chicago shit, and YoungBoy, it's not a lot of them is extra super duper. Like, remember, Future wasn't no drug dealer. People forget that. Drake, Kendrick, some of these people, Kendrick is adjacent to it, but that ain't who he is. Future really is a trend. That's where we are now. That's where we've been. It's been going that way. And so a lot of the drug, so really that stuff, it's already been low-key waning anyway. Now it's for the most part gone, and now people are like, they thought hip-hop was never loyal to the street. Hip-hop was not just supposed to be a representative of the street. Urbanism is bigger than just the street low redneck shit, but that's another topic. But as far as on this video, that's not your issue. Your issue is you're on some, if I can't have what I want, then I don't want nothing. That's your issue. You're one of them ones, I don't never need to settle. It's not about settling, it's about compromising. It's about what the fuck do you really want? Is it really important that a nigga be 6 foot? Or are you cool with dealing with a nigga that's 5'10" if you like how he look? Is it because she also did a video where she was talking about height? A way back when. I ain't forget about that. So it's very, and then they came out like she was on live, TikTok live with some nigga she was attracted to. So you like what you like, and that's okay. But you're not owed what you want. Nobody is. Nobody is. I don't care if you got money as a dude. You're not owed what you want. And women have this thing where they think they're owed what they want. You're not. Even Sarah Fine, not same thing. Women have this thing where they think they're owed what they desire. No, you have to close those deals. Meaning you have to make yourself available to the niggas you want, and then you got to make it easy for them to choose you. I'm not saying this I'm saying this for Gerald. So a lot of these women that may not be, the most attractive, they're around a lot of dudes that, like, they have put themselves, for whatever reason, they're in proximity to certain dudes, so certain women are able to catch something that they otherwise might not be able to catch. And that's where your environment, because she was mainly talking about environment she grew up in. Because, these chicks always talk about that. My environment. So that, to that extent, I'll give her that, maybe. But then I don't know what environment she is. I don't know if she grew up in Charlotte, if she grew up in Kannapolis. I don't care. I'm not trying to dox nobody like that. But I can tell you, just like how in Raleigh is a very transplant area. Like, for example, let's say she grew up in Raleigh. The reality is there's a lot of New Yorkers down here. There's New Yorkers down here, they've been down here. So it ain't like, you just don't got no niggas, and the niggas are only Carolina cornbread ass niggas. That's not true. And what a lot of these motherfuckers be really on too that doesn't get talked about is they just think they got time. They think they forever in your 20s. This is what Kevin Samuels was fucking talking about. Y'all motherfuckers should have been on red alert when you turned really If you really 27 is when y'all really need to be on yellow alert, and really 30 is when you need to be on red. But here's why. Because when you're 27, you can kind of go both ways, age-wise. When you're like, you can deal with a 31-year-old, 32-year-old, a nigga that's just now coming into some shit, and maybe he's willing to lock some shit down. When you're 30 or 33, y'all is when y'all get in this delusional mode where y'all still think y'all got time. The reality is, where she's 30, 38, 37, 38. That means that really her market should be dudes that are 45, 44, 45 that ain't got a kid yet. But if they ain't got a kid yet, in the mind of a lot of these black women, regardless of how they think, they still subject to the same cultural bullshit. They think if you ain't put a baby in a nigga, then that means that dick must not work. That means you ain't got the dick that's compelled a bitch to have your baby. Regardless whether they own that shit or not. That's what a lot of them chicks be thinking. That's what they really be thinking. That if you ain't got, but then they don't want to deal with no nigga with a kid already because you don't want to deal with baby mama drama. Some women don't care, some women care, right? You know, like the video, if you pick it up what I'm putting down, make sure y'all throw some money in that Cash App. Like I said. And so when you get in your 30s, so when you get in your 30s, and now you got to deal, you like, again, 38, you're dealing with a dude that you're looking at a dude that's 48. In his mind, in your mind, he old. Because you may not see yourself as actually 37, 38. You don't think about it like that. Because time just catches up. The older you get, the faster times move. So you don't think of yourself as a 38-year-old person. You may really still see, especially if you ain't looking old, you may see yourself as 32. A lot of millennials fall in this trap because a lot of millennials don't necessarily look old for their age. Especially if they kept themselves up, right? So you may see yourself as 32. So you really thinking you're aiming high dating somebody your age right now. And then you may think, oh, if I date a nigga that's like 40, like 45, then he's going to be 50 by the time I'm 40, 42, 43. Ew. So women like that, they rather date younger. Because if they date 5 years younger, then by the time they get in their 40s, they like, and I'm not even talking about that's a bad thing. That's not necessarily 10 or 15 years younger, but they may date 5 years younger. So that's what I'm into. And they may not think this way, but that's how it always ends up. And then you run into the trap. I'm assuming you just not getting fucked. Yeah, we're actually talking about relationships and not just talking about out here getting fucked. Because if you don't pay attention and you just base it, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that that's not what she's on. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's on that, well, I'm celibate, I'm blah, 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 blah. That Maya shit. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Because a lot of women, they just out here getting fucked, and by the time they wake up, they realize they 45, 46. They think they can get a nigga to fuck. Maybe a nigga they sexually attracted to fuck. Understand, it's not hard. If you're not an ugly bitch, it's not hard to give a nigga some free pussy. Because that's how that nigga sees it. It's not difficult. I'm not even saying that. My premise is based on she didn't get ran through and she just bad. A lot of us always got to go to I don't think it's that, because if it was that, it come off a lot more bitter than what it already is. And a lot of y'all always go to the maximum common denominator. It's not always that, but it don't need to be that from my perspective to be right. And so a lot of women, they just on this, I can just leave it on the shelf and God will provide, or the right nigga, the perfect nigga's gonna come through. Newsflash, it ain't no perfect, and which is code for the nigga I'm very, very strongly sexually attracted to. And the problem is the women that a lot of these chicks are strongly sexually attracted to, all you chicks are sexually attracted to. So them niggas ain't got no reason to come off of what they on because it's another chick. And it is what it is. That's the market women created. So it then becomes, what do you want most? And men look, ass, teeth, men can face. A lot of dudes, if they want a body, They'll take a body over face. If a chick with a decent personality that is cooperative and they in the market to actually close the deal, they will take, a lot of dudes will take, black men will take a body over a face. If the face is like not, is like right average or below average, and she can do the other stuff, cool. A lot of dudes ain't compromising on that. But they'll be like, I'm not gonna, like, some people just talking about that. Cause a lot of chicks, they may not have a body, but then they ain't got kids yet. Cause it's crazy. Dudes think about that and understand that. The women are on some, if I can't have it my way 100%, and there's been statistics that show this. Statistics, if you get 80% of what you want, are you happy? Women will say no. Men will say yes, that's a deal. That's how y'all, and then you got the social society, social media, the ads basically gaslight you and let you believe that that's cool, because she said it herself. Your women in my family are talking about they just want me to pick some man. Yeah, some man, not a man that you're extremely attracted to. But see, the problem is you all have a window of what you all can get the best of. And that depends on what approximation you have as far as environment. Because if you're around a whole bunch of dudes with money, then yeah, you might be able to close that deal easier. What, did they close? Easier. Maybe. I'm accounting for that. But the reality is, most of these chicks are not just around a smorgasbord of dudes that they want. That's not because of the crack era. That just is what that is. And so a lot of these chicks, that's why a lot of these chicks get extra delusional. I'm not saying she is, but they get like Kendra G. They just don't think about it. So they start playing games, and it don't hit you until you like Claudia Jordan. You 52. Now you can't deny it. Otherwise, you'll look like Vivica Fox. That's the cost of waiting. And we blaming the crack era when the reality is you couldn't move, you couldn't go nowhere. This world is smaller than what it used to be. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And the video started, and see, what really annoyed me really was all the women in the comments, yes women in the comments. Yeah, that's why I'm not with nobody. First of all, most of you chicks in the comments are liars. You all are getting fucked by somebody. And to be honest with you, you saying you not with nobody, that's cool, because guess what? Ain't nobody subsidizing your ass. So if y'all getting fucked, that means y'all really just giving pussy away. That's all it is. Y'all just another notch for the niggas, for the niggas y'all want. Y'all are just extra side pussy. What are we talking about? Y'all out here thinking you jumping out the system is not the same as if a plurality of women jump out the system. We know they getting fucked by somebody, regardless what they want to say. I'm not saying that's her, but I'm saying most of these chicks that play that celibacy game are liars. We know this. We know this. We're not even gonna get into the rabbits and the toys. You know, they like to talk about the porn, but they never want to talk about the toys with the females, let alone those romance novels. Let's cut the bullshit. These chicks are out here getting fucked because they out here having kids. These chicks be having these oops babies at like 35, 36, Cynthia G. They playing. People are out here playing. They are out here playing. And so to sit here and the crack era, you know, black men sold drugs to black women, and black women ended up being crackheads and having crack baby children, and that was the pull that I had to pull from. Like you live in a Glorilla origin story or some shit. Get the fuck out of here. So, and I didn't want any of that. Well, shit, just go get you a white boy then. That's my answer to that shit. Just go get you a white boy. Get you a non-black man. If it was really that hard for you, then get you a white boy. Jesus fucking Christ. You know good and well that wasn't the issue. Your age caught up to your ass. I'm not, notice how I didn't even go into, you know, her being big when she used to be big based on what she said, because I don't have enough information to be able to give timelines on that. So I'm not even going to put that in there. But I think that's also in the mix too. You probably couldn't get the, it was the same thing with Czar. Czar, you know, and Czar sitting there talking about, oh, dude cheated on me and I got big because our self-esteem was low and I was big, but I was, don't act like you were still able to get the same niggas being big. These motherfuckers be lying. You are not out here able to get the same niggas when you big like that. You may have been able to get them to fuck you, but this idea that they just willing to give away the store, you're lying. You're lying out your ass. Stop lying. You may be able to get a nigga to dive in, but you're not getting a nigga to actually pay for that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Because once you're willing to spend money and trick, you gonna be, ain't no just, if you gonna trick, you're gonna be intentional where the flow of your money goes. It's like niggas talk about, I'm willing to go to fucking Nordstrom's or whatever, you know, whatever expensive place, you know what I'm saying? I want to go get some Yeezys. I got the money to spend $1,000 or $500 on some fucking shoes, but I'm gonna sit here and go ahead and go to Payless because I don't care. They just need to be shoes, but I'm gonna pay for it. It don't work that way. Once dudes are willing to spend money, they typically want to spend money on what they want, and they'll pay a premium dollar for that. Czar was lying her ass off. Or you may have got a goofy ass nigga that wanted you so bad that he remembered when you looked good and he was willing to do, because he was a boys walking ass, friend zone ass dude, maybe, but like in a greater market, you're lying. You're lying. You're over exaggerating. So we know when these chicks get bigger, the pool shrinks. I'm talking about a dude that's willing to commit. I'm not talking about dudes that straight for the stroke, dudes that, yo, you gonna throw some pussy at me, cool. And even then, them niggas ain't about to pay a whole bunch of top dollar for it. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut it out. Now, granted, you in the South, and these niggas love fucking fat, but even still, the niggas with money ain't just throwing it out like that. Stop it. Like, we live in a world where, you know, black is the only race out here. Like, ain't no options nowhere or nothing like that. Greg, what you just said just like 7 different times. I don't need you to give like 30 different ways of talking about she mad because she can't. Like, come on, we get it, man. We get it. We get it. Because that's not even like where I'm going with this. Because I don't need to go that far. We get it. I mean, you guys see the video. You guys see the video. I may share it. Share it. But it's like, yeah, the crack era, and you know, the pool. Basically, she's saying the crack era produced the shitty pool of men. And I mean, shit, we can say that about the females. A lot of this city girls stuff comes from the Gen X. What are you talking about? But no, the niggas you want productive street niggas. That's what you want. Cause that's the main pool that was fucking affected by the crack era. You want productive street niggas. That's what you want. Looking at the dude that she said when she was on that live, that they're talking, oh, you attracted. That dude looked like he could have been out of prison. You want productive street niggas. That's what you want. And you want a former street nigga that's got the look, but it's more, that's what you want. And it is what it is. Cool. You have a right to want what you want. But, and even if I give you the crack era argument, that's a Gen X sold those drugs. And we all grew up in this. You act like you the only one. Or certain people like you from this completely devastated situation. I was born in Dominguez, Compton, California. I was born in the heart of the shit. Dominguez Hospital's on my birth certificate. I was born in the heart of it. Literally, the heart of it. And I was raised in Chicago before I came to North Carolina. So don't act like, you know, the women are victims. The women incentivize dudes that weren't even street dudes to sell drugs. And then let them niggas go to jail, and then turn around and was able to get stepfathers because dudes weren't on game yet. And so the reason I wanted to bring this up is because you got these women that ain't got a kid. So it's like, cool, you ain't got a kid. That's great. And I mean that. But it's like they mad because they let time catch up to you. Kevin has been dead like 4 years. You would have been 34. You would have been 32 when Kevin got started going viral. Hold on, I wish somebody go to Kevin's channel and go look up that Average at Best video when that video came out. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Just to give you a perspective. Kevin Samuels channel. Kevin Samuels channel. Man, these people are so fucking stupid. So you just not go, you gonna make me type this shit while I'm driving. Yeah, I don't know what is my iPad doing. What is my iPad is doing on this shit's pissing me off. It's like this shit, it needs to be updated. Man, one of y'all motherfuckers go look that shit up before I get into a fucking car accident. Go look that shit up. Go type in Kevin Samuels channel and go look it up and put popular videos, because this Average at Best should still be his best video. And look that shit up. Hold on 1 second. The Average at Best video came out The Average at Best, he uploaded a live version of it 5 years ago. So basically, you're 38. You would have been 33 at that time. Yeah, so you would have been 33 at that time. Okay, and yeah, and that original video, which is how he blew up, came out. So yeah, you would have been 32 around that time. You would have been 32 around that time. And Dana was on YouTube like in that orbit, because she was originally making whole Black Men Accountable content. I'm not gonna get my mom died, so I'm not gonna get into accountable content. I'm not gonna get my mom died, so I'm not gonna get into how you ended up being on the women's ass, but now you trying to come back in the middle, which is what it is. But my thing is, let's be real. You was 32 then. And I know women that are in that 29 to 32 range, they're in shock. It's like they just pretend they're not really in their 30s. And that those years are not coming up. That's what it is. It might, but my point, 32. So the thing is, at 32, really it's 5 years. That's the rule, 5 years up. But see, what she probably want to do is date a dude probably like 3 to 5 years younger. And that's why a lot of Black women end up getting with dudes younger like that, because they don't want a nigga that's old by the time they get up there. And I'm not acting like people are necessarily thinking like this, like one-to-one. But my point is, this is how this stuff happens, and this is what the fuck we've been saying. So this thing about, you know, like the crack era and all of that, like that shit just affected the men, and that didn't completely, the men still know what they supposed to do. The women are the ones that got completely rewrote. The women are the ones, like when you look at what Black women wanted in the 80s and what Black women wanted, hell, even in the late 90s, those are two completely different people. Those are two completely different people. When you look at what boomer black women wanted and late and early Xer black women wanted compared to millennial, it's completely night and day. Y'all the ones that changed. The men didn't change. What happened with the men, though, is you all like the dudes that are literally the ones that were dealing with the crack era, the ones, the drug dealers and all that. She'll say, I don't like drug dealers, whatever, but that aesthetic, because Future represents that aesthetic. That drug dealer, prison nigga look. That's what y'all be wanting. Like the Kevin Samuels, suit and tie look is not what a lot of y'all want. So, now, more black women have demonstrated they want that than what people think if they're presented with it. And that's been kind of a change. But at the end of the day, because like I said, that's it. All millennial women are in their 30s after this year. That's it. My brother will be 30 in 2 weeks. That's it. In less than 2 weeks. And so this is what Kevin talked about this. I don't know where she landed with Kevin, but I bet you back then she was on some whole Kevin accountable because she wasn't on this jump on women thing. And again, a lot of it be YouTube money. I'm like, shoot, you got TikTok money. Use TikTok to get with a nigga you like. But you might have to pay for that dude. Or you might have to take off the money aspect of it. But motherfuckers don't want. They want what they want. And you can want what you want. I know somebody that wanted to sell their house for $600,000. Now this was years. Now they can easily get what they wanted. But this was like years ago. They wanted to sell a house for $600,000. It was a great house. It was a great house. The location was good. But it's like you're not gonna get $600,000 for that. And they're like, well, I'm not selling. Do you know that motherfucker died before that house was able to get on the market for what it is? Nowadays, they would easily been able to get that and more. But at that time, it just stayed there. It stayed there because not only because it's high, but when you're putting a house over like 600 and over, that's a different buyer. Because even the way the loans are put together, it's not when you get like $1 million up house or something like that, or you get houses where you want what y'all want, those are not the same. The way those houses are financed are not exactly the same. And they're financed with stock options. They're financed differently. Jumbo loans and shit. It's different. And you wouldn't know unless you've gotten a house like that. At $600,000, you might still be able to get that the normal way. But just remember, 10% of $600,000 is $120,000. Meaning usually that level of house is going to be somebody's second home. Fuck New York. Fuck LA. If I'm not Chicago, I'm talking about in the rest of America. That's not going to be a starter house. That's not in DC too. That's not going to be a starter house. It's not. That's usually the second piece of property somebody has bought. And it's the same thing when you get into certain dating markets. When you get into certain dating scenarios and situations. Women think they're women. I just got to open my legs. No. Like for another example. Well, I ain't got no kid. You right. You don't have a kid. Well, she didn't say that, but I'm saying like women will say this. You're right. You don't have a kid, but you still 37, 38 though. So now your ability to have a kid, like the easy way, now you're in high likelihood. Do you even want kids at that point? Do you even want kids at that point? So even if a dude get what you talk about, he ain't got a kid, you still got to account for the fact, do you even want kids? And then if you a dude that you don't have kids, if you lock it down with a chick, chances are you're locking down with a chick because you want kids. So now, and then you probably don't just want one. You probably want at least two. And for whatever reason, and this is why dudes go younger. Because it's like, yo, it's one thing to be 33 and not have kids. You 30. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I'm talking about what the woman wants. And so you have to account for all of that. So if you a dude and you really getting chicks like that, you can just get what you want for the most part. You may have to compromise a little bit, but usually not much, especially in this economy. So the thing about it is, women operate like this is no push-pull. Like this is just what they want and that's it. And where they really land and do the best you can do with it where you really land. It is what it is. Because women, time is not on women's side. People can say that about men, but at the end of the day, if a nigga got his money up and he got his physical, he can get usually a good range of what he wants. Men are not on this I'm not compromising on nothing shit. That's some shit women are on. Men understand. And if men really like, and let's keep, and if you don't believe me, a lot of women be on that, a lot of dudes will be on that, well, she just got one kid. That's why dudes will have that one child opt-out policy. Because that'll bring them a lot more in range of probably what they want. But usually, think of how fast Ciara had a kid with Russell Wilson. That's how it used to be. It used to be, if you're going to play that game, I'm doing this because I want kids. And you're going to give me this. Remember, Russell Wilson didn't have kids with that white chick. No, I got you. Russell Wilson didn't have kids with that white chick. So remember, that's another thing a lot of men got annoyed about too. That was his first kid. Now you didn't give a fuck about Future having all, because remember, Ciara was Future's fourth baby mama. But you didn't have that problem though. But with Russell, it's his first kid. A lot of dudes felt some type of way about that too. Anyway, give me a sec. Yeah, so I mean, that's what people, they just ignore it because it's an inconvenient truth. And I'm not saying you can't still find what you want, but you're gonna have to expand the pool. Meaning you got to be able to travel, do whatever you got to do to make that happen. People don't want to do that. And I don't like, again, I'll do the play-by-play with the video, but blaming the crack era, I mean, that again, that's a new man. Dudes are trying to rewrite history. Dudes are not trying to rewrite history. We don't want, like, we're trying to be disingenuous. No, that's the females that are doing that. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. But it ain't gonna land the way you think. Even like I said, you got to issue Gen X. Gen X sold those drugs. Millennials, we were on the recipient. As far as we're concerned, we could say Gen X, hell no, I ain't going that far. Gen X corrupted the gene pool. If we want to be on that, and then other dudes had to clean up. That's one of the reasons why you had the street, a lot of dudes hating on street dudes and shit like that. That's one reason why you have that. Because these dudes basically were on some dusty, crusty stuff. Then they turned around and got a hold of some crack money and didn't know what to do because they were being low-key hated on, discriminated against because they were dark-skinned. And then these dudes basically ran crazy with it. And women aided and abetted that. Women were victims of that. Women chose the money. That's the game. Women it's apparently. Yeah, I'm about to hop off. But so this thing that like, oh man, and even then we talk about an individual problem. We're talking about an individual situation. At the end of the, like, this idea, you nigga, better looking women than you were able to secure the shit that they want. Even here. So that's bullshit. That see, I told you, women talk about shit in cycles. And now they want to bring up, I'm just a product of my, because that's the thing, a lot of women that ended up being single mothers just say, oh, I'm just a product of my environment. I only had to pull from the niggas I had to pull from. So how do you explain chicks going to college and dealing with niggas in the hood around the school that they was in? So that ain't your peers with their other millennial men ain't really got nothing to do with that shit. These women, these niggas like talk about, you understand the child or these crack baby women and da 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 da. Like, you know, the Charles the Block. I mean, y'all fucking them niggas too. What do you think we were talking about reverse natural selection? What do you think we were talking about devolving the race? You ain't saying nothing we haven't been saying. But where you're bullshitting on is you're trying to make it like it was this overwhelming amount of men. No, it just affected the type of niggas you were sexually attracted to, and you didn't want to deal with no other type. This is the same bullshit Keke Palmer be on. Keke Palmer talking, I can't find a man, but you clearly have a type. You like, Keke Palmer likes light-skinned niggas. She don't care what size they come in. Playboy Max is 5'4". Keke Palmer 32 all up on him like, you know, you like light-skinned niggas. That's not her, but Keke Palmer. You got a type. Talking about Trey Songz, but you got a nigga that look like Trey Songz. They don't want to tell the whole truth. They don't. Like, we saw this. Why are y'all acting like we don't know? And the difference is, if men can get their shit together and usually still get what they want out of the system. At 38, men still have time to do that because men can get a deal made, but the women can't. The women, it's harder because they want what they want. And when you get older, you get more solidified in that. You don't get, which is another reason why dudes don't want older women. Because why would I want? I want a Land Rover that's 150,000 miles versus one that's like 30, and then the Land Rover that's 150,000 miles costs more. What? What are we talking about? Anyway, y'all, be looking out for that video. I actually got another video that somebody cashed at me to do, so I'm probably gonna kick that one out first and let this one marinate. But that's literally how they are. Yeah, man, we know what we want. Yeah, and it's worth and we know what we want. Yeah, you want more than what a younger bitch wants. So a younger bitch, like, come on, man. What are we talking about? It's like a fat chick talking about I can't cook, but a skinnier chick can. Who the fuck you think? Come on, man. Anyway, y'all, this is Edward. Appreciate it. This is Edward signing off. Peace.